Gonna give a fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the Back Yourself podcast for the second last episode of this season before we review every team's
Third last
2025. Oh, well, we're going to review the Grand Final as well, but is there going to be much to say? Previewing the Grand Final where two colossal sides take each other on, and if someone was to tell us in the preseason that the mighty Broncos are playing the mighty Melbourne Storm in the Grand Final, would be like, yeah, that sounds about right. And you know what? 12 months later, we are here. And there has been a topsy-turvy season for both of these clubs, more so Brisbane than Melbourne at different points of the season. But now they are at the finish line looking at the Premiership trophy, but only one team will get to host it. Chris, welcome to the set, my friend. It's been a long, grueling season for us on the Back Yourself podcast where we have reviewed every single game and previewed every single game from a punting perspective and from a hilarious trolling perspective as well. But there's no trolling in this game because these two teams deserve better than that. How are you feeling, my friend, on the eve of the Grand Final?
Well, I wish it was so serious. It kind of feels like, this is very weird, there's a stress that just isn't there this year.
The stress is these fucks.
Yeah, no, it's like...
That's why there's no stress.
It's like, I really don't care who wins. Like, obviously for, I don't know, I guess... who deserves to win over another? We can discuss that in the preview. But I actually couldn't... Like, whoever lifts the shield on Sunday, I'll be like, yeah, all right, good job, guys.
Can I tell you why there's no stress? Outside of, obviously, the absence of these cocksuckers.
Yeah.
It's because we live in Sydney and there's no Sydney team. I'm sure the cunts in Queensland are like, come on, Brisbane,
yeah, but they're Brisbane.
And the cunts in Melbourne are like, oh, yeah, another one would be nice.
No, but like...
It's just Sydney. It's like, all right, there's no Souths fans everywhere. There's no Penrith fans. Para haven't randomly made it. Dogs haven't made it.
True.
That's where, like, you go to Belmore, cunts are out in the streets. You go to Redfern, cunts are out in the streets.
Actually, we'll see. Let's let the comments
can
decide.
let us know.
Like, all the fans of these different teams, obviously, there's a lot more fans of Sydney teams that watch our podcast. So, who are you guys actually truly cheering for? Like, I don't know if I'd cheer for anyone. I just, like, want to see a good show.
In your own circles of neutral fans
okay.
that you've spoken to, what's the ratio?
I want to scream at them once we get through the lineups because, like, they haven't learnt anything, and it really annoys me. Like, we get to the last game, and still cunts haven't learned. Cunts are asleep,
yeah.
Which really annoyed me. But we've had it the whole season, so, like...
There's nothing new.
There's nothing really new. But the circles are saying, and of course people want to see Walsh and Reynolds win one, which...
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at Reynolds winning one. Like, I think he deserves one. Hunt also winning one will be, like...
That's the big one for me.
Like, the biggest takeaway from why he moved, why he went to Broncos. Like, that is huge for him.
The redemption of Grand Finals 10 years apart.
Exactly. Like, it'll be huge. And probably, like, most likely, it's not easy to make a Grand Final. Are they going to be able to make a Grand Final next year? You don't know, right?
Guaranteed.
You only have the one shot at it. So, for him, like, it's big. I feel like there's just a lot of one team that, like, it means so much, in my opinion, and the other team really does not give a shit. In the nicest way possible. Which Melbourne fans, I know, they'll be like, nah, bruh, this is where it matters. It doesn't look like it. How many games we had? How many games did they play? Like 26 games? Yeah. They haven't tried for 80 minutes yet. And it's like, all right, they're there. So now they flick a switch, and we'll get to it later. Do they even need to? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm going to get blasted on the comments of this
Why?
podcast. But you know what? Like, it's the Back Yourself podcast, so I don't give a fuck. You guys will be given the pleasure of us breaking every single angle of this Grand Final from a punting perspective, from a footy perspective, our best bets, Clive Churchill tips, spreads, margins, you name it. So hang tight with us for probably the next hour as we go straight into the depths of the matchups between these two teams. And where better to start than the team lists for my final. For my final.
Oh, no, wait. Tuesday. No. Review of the season.
No, review of obviously the entire history of the Bulldogs, Terry Lamb, and onwards. But for this particular fixture, Bellamy doesn't even give a fuck, so he's running at the same 17 that obviously destroyed Sharks last week. Michael Maguire just has the one change with obviously the return of Pat Carrigan from suspension after now having 2 weeks, essentially 3 weeks breather. Sees Tyson Smoothie revert to the bench. Unfortunately, and this player has actually come on and made shit happen for the last 6 weeks, Ben Tolty misses out on the opportunity to play in the Grand Final. He has been playing gun, but I'm not mad at Madge keeping Smoothie in the side because he also performed last week. So, I guess the talking point...
shouldn't be there either, but anyway.
The talking point out of team list is that Ezra retains his bench spot and Pakes also retains his hooking position. Ben Hunt starts in the halves, and I guess Madge has just been like, I'm not going to change a winning formula as far as my spine goes. We have a spread, Chris, of 2.5 in the favour of the Storm. They're about $1.70 head-to-head in most spots, with Brisbane being the same price, if not even shorter than they were against Penrith, which is fascinating because last I checked, this game isn't at Suncorp, motherfuckers. But anyway, how do you see this one unfolding, my friend? Do the Melbourne Storm deserve to be favourites at $1.70? And are the Brisbane Broncos so battle-hardened that they can go into this game and slay a dragon of this competition?
They can. Like, both teams can win this, of course, but truly, how is this only 2.5? The fuck are we... I mean, all right, it's time for me to start screaming again. Not really, just people don't learn. Is this like the same lesson we learned 2 weeks ago? Okay, they beat Penrith. Like, you can't just don't get it, do you? They're not going to go win. Like, people are just like confidently tipping Brisbane. It's like, oh, they won last week, so they won the comp.
Yeah.
Like, no. I mean, if anything, even in this game, and like if Penrith were there, let's say if this was Penrith Melbourne again, we would come out and say Melbourne, of course, because fuck those cunts.
Yeah.
But we would have got, maybe you could have even seen Melbourne as slight favourites in that game. Maybe. Well, I'm not saying they would be. Based on the price right now, it would have been. It probably would have been like the year fucking 5 years ago, exactly $1.90, and it doesn't move the whole week. But right now, it's not moving in any direction. Lineups didn't really change anything. I thought maybe it would move to 3 based on, Ezra being on the bench, but it's just held strong at 2.5.
Worked last week, bro.
But in my opinion, sorry, Brisbane fans, and a lot of you probably are watching this podcast hoping that I would come out and say the same garbage again. But unfortunately, we're going to see a grand final, those 13 plus, and it's going to be in the Melbourne direction.
Why?
Like, I actually don't even... Last time, like, obviously I was paying Penrith and Brisbane didn't have Carrigan. Actually, this time around, we could see, like, the grand final from when Melbourne won it with Cam Smith all over again.
Fuck me.
Like...
Why?
They're awful. Like, all right, let's take away last week's bias of they're playing Penrith, right? If you intrinsically watch them play their 2 finals game, they've played shit for about 55 minutes. And in that, conceded 14 points to Penrith, who can't score, clearly. Bye-bye, losers. 28 points to Raiders in 2 seconds, and Strange just walks through the middle of the field. No one's fucking there. And now you got to play a Melbourne team who have the better spine. Maybe not as much as they did against Cronulla. Like, Brisbane is the second best spine in the competition, sure. Have a complete and utter mismatch on the wings. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? I actually don't even know how they defend it. Like, what do you do?
Mate, these cunts were doing escorts on Alamoti the whole
Like, I don't know what the fuck you're going to do on these two. But anyway, like, either side... You have Hughes, who's a week healthier, who literally fucking palmed off one of the Cronulla forwards, and apparently he's injured. You have last week who Munster did one chip and chase, didn't do anything. Grant did one run, didn't do anything. Pappy, again, like, was just around the ruck, and again, did one run and got to the ball and scored. A team that hasn't really played to their 100% potential. Is everyone just expecting that Melbourne play the same way? If so, then... yeah, Brisbane have a chance. If Melbourne have another gear, which we've been saying the whole year, they've been playing for 40 minutes of 80-minute contests at a maximum level.
When did they play 40?
Exactly. At a maximum level. If we expect them that, okay, maybe they'll play 60 minutes in this grand final, Brisbane are going to get slaughtered. And there is nothing showing from the Brisbane side. Okay, in the last 20 minutes, you might ping it back from 40-0 to 40-16. Like... you cunts are not sick cunts to come back from any result. If you cunts let 30 points in the first half, you're done.
Oh, come on. They're not that bad.
But they've been awful all 3 fucking games. And the problem is, the teams that they've fucking played, one, executed really well but couldn't defend anything, i.e. Canberra. They put 28 on them. You can't just fucking 28 snap like that in the finals. And the other team who can't fucking score. Like, we're not talking about a team that can't score. in any capacity. This team, on their peak, will put 30 in the first half and not give a fucking flying fuck about you cunts. Okay, you defended the middle park really well. You defend your goal line really well. You know where else Melbourne is really well? They actually don't score 90% of the time on the goal line, unless they're kicking the codes. They score from their own half. Simply what you guys do very often. I don't think there's a player mismatch. I don't think there's... You can look on paper and everyone will be like, nah, Brisbane, bro, like it's pretty close. It is, but Melbourne haven't played to that level. So how can I be like, oh, all right, it's been close if Melbourne play 40% capacity? If they play 100, what is anyone going to say, oh, nah, Brisbane still have a chance?
They will, but we won't.
No, I don't think they will.
They will.
Genuinely, the only argument is Melbourne play the same way that they've been playing the last 2 weeks in the finals. And then you could be like, okay, they beat Cronulla by 8, let's say 12. They beat Dogs by 8, let's say 2 because of the intercept. They haven't really convincingly won any of these games. First of all, neither of you fucks in any capacity. You've won every game by 2 or 1, the total of 3-point difference. Arguable, you played Canberra and you played Penrith compared to
they did have a
Dogs and Sharks.
They did have
100%.
A gauntlet compared to fucking...
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm putting that away. But I don't think Melbourne played to the best of their abilities. If they play the best of abilities against that Dogs team, it would have been 40. If they play the best of abilities with that Cronulla team, the way they were defending the middle of the park, it would have been 40. If we're just expecting them to play the same, then I'll hear any argument on Brisbane. But what I've seen from Melbourne is they are due 100% performance. They've been due the whole year. If they're not going to fucking do it now, then they're going to lose the grand final and go to Bali and really don't give a fuck. And it actually just shows, to be honest, if Melbourne don't win 13 plus and Brisbane, like, let's be honest. If Melbourne win 1-12, they did not give a shit the whole year and literally won the grand final just because these cunts are just too talented. Simple. Like, if they really give a fucking shit, they'll beat these cunts 13 plus. And if they lose the grand final, honestly, they were already thinking about Bali. They don't care. Like, this team has literally got there and just shown the rest of the league, been like, all right, we're just fucking too good for you cunts. Like, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. We don't care. And I think they've shown the whole year that they are the best team in the competition. Yeah, they didn't finish first. Yeah, Raiders decided to come back against them. Do we remember that Melbourne led that game 14-0? If it wasn't for Stefano and Liero being idiots in the ruck, they probably won that game 20-6.
Yeah.
Like,
they ended Penrith's fucking win streak without Pappy and Graham.
Yeah, they had no players and they just fucking beat Penrith. Like, this team hasn't played a full 80 minutes and beaten everyone. Like, how can we argue any other way?
I guess...
Did they try against Brisbane in the last game of the season?
They named everyone when they didn't have to.
I agree.
I guess would be the devil's advocate. And
I agree.
They couldn't score and Brisbane actually like 13 plus them.
I'm not scared of these cunts in any capacity. I think last week is just a fucking fallacy that everyone is just looking at that, being like, yep, they beat Penrith, they beat Raiders, they're going to beat Melbourne.
In fairness, though, those same cunts tipped them against Raiders.
Yeah, I know. They're going for the ride, which is fine.
But those same cunts didn't tip them against Penrith.
Well, I agree. Everyone bitched it against Penrith, and now they're just going to the successor. It's kind of like, all right, okay, they beat us. Oh, we're going to support them now. What the fuck? That's not how it works. You look at the game and be like, okay, Melbourne's just better than them. Like, it's simple. I'm truly cannot wait for the review podcast of the whole season.
Same, yeah. It's going to be fucking all-time classic.
This game, like, I'm just like, okay, if Brisbane win, it really just shows a testament to the whole league. You can try for 8 weeks and win the comp.
Yeah.
And if Melbourne wins, you can try for one game. You can try for one game and win the comp. Either or, Melbourne making the grand final on their own, all they've shown is, okay, we have talent. We can score points. We've tried different ways of scoring, but, 1 week we kick to Katoa 10 times and he scores 5 tries. 1 week we're going to kick to Warbrick. 1 week, you know what, we're going to chip and chase to Pappy and that's going to work as well. Like, it just shows their testament to the league how much at the start of the season they're in front of everyone else. And right now they're in the grand final for what? Like, what was their best performance this year? Truly.
The Penrith without Pappy.
Penrith without Pappy, yeah.
And Grant.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hughes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, being completely honest, they really haven't had that many great performances against good sides. They lost to Raiders. They got raped by Brisbane.
Correct.
The first time they beat Brisbane was when the snipers were out in the crowd.
Yeah, but we've said the whole year. Have they even tried?
Well, I guess the argument would be like, what have these cunts been waiting for that they haven't tried for so long?
Well, they don't care. And my point is, and exactly in the grand final, if they're not going to try now, then I'll happily lose. Like, it's fine. If they're just going to willy-nilly get to the grand final just fucking playing 40%, sure. Like, and lose the grand final to an 8-week playing team, sure. Whatever. I don't care. Like, there was no skin off my back if these cunts lose. I would say I've got the upside of $1.70 that these cunts are just going to turn it on for like 15 minutes and they're up 24-0 and that's it. Like, fucking pack it up. Yeah. I've said the whole year, and we actually said the whole year, this team is just the best.
They have been, yeah.
Look, if they're not going to play their best or anywhere near their best, yes, Brisbane have a chance. But if they do, you cunts are fucked. So I don't know what Brisbane can throw at them. If they can, I've named so many different weaknesses in your team, yet alone that the middle of the park, yeah, it looked fucking great last week, somewhat. You guys were still getting rolled for the first half of the game. By obviously Carrigan will fix that a little bit. Smoothie being there is a problem. But the outside backs, do you guys have an advantage? Like, is Stags just going to fucking roll over Meaney? Like, he didn't get much ball in the game that he should have rolled over fucking McLean.
It'll be Howarth.
Oh, Howarth, for example. Like, Howarth is a better player in my book than fucking McLean. You cunts can fight me in the comments. And he didn't even get the ball 90% of the time because of fucking Reynolds. So, like, is Madge going to be able to fix that? That Stags thought, like, there's too many ifs. Melbourne play their best, they win. That's it. It's a very simple scenario. Can Melbourne play their best? I don't think they have the whole year, and I think they will in the grand final. And it will really just show that, like, they've been in second gear, and whoever came against them would fucking die in this game. And I'm going Melbourne 13+.
Full-time score prediction?
Yeah, they'll come back. I reckon there's going to be... I don't know what the fuck the bookies are thinking. Like, if I had a best bet, like, nailed, and I didn't pick the $10 ones, this is 100% overs. How the fuck is this 40? I don't know. There's no war in this game. Throw the fucking footy around. I don't know. 30 to... Nah, they'll score a bit. Fuck it. I'll say 40. 40 to 16.
Are you on drugs?
Mate, this is
Why the fuck would Brisbane concede 40 points?
What? They conceded 28 to Canberra in 50 minutes.
Yeah, with 2 sin bins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the sin bins really saved them. When they sin bin, that's when they started defending.
In the first half, they just conceded 2 grubber tries to Hudson and Sebastian Chris.
When the sin bins weren't there, that's when they started conceding. That's when they started defending for once. They were down 28 before both of these cunts went off.
I don't know. 40's a lot, bro. Come on.
I'm not worried about it. I actually don't care. These cunts are going to win by a lot. Like, I don't even think this is even close. The only reason this is an argument is because they beat Penrith. And they won the last game of the season, so everyone's like, yeah, they can do it again. It's Melbourne, bro.
Okay. So, number one, obviously, analysis aside, we have 2 teams that I would be very happy to see either of them lift the shield. This is not a project anyone but Penrith of last year of when we had to reluctantly cheer for Melbourne as favourites without Nelson, knowing that they were going to lose anyway, and they went and lost because their forwards were awful. And it's not the 2 years ago where the entire fucking world was on Brisbane to end these cunts, and they almost did, but then gave up to them. Para, we knew these cunts have no chance. More so, same with Souths without Latrell.
Yeah.
And obviously, the year prior to that, Melbourne dismantled Penrith, which was great to watch. This year, look, if we get the fairy tale narrative that Ben Hunt returns to Brisbane 10 years after losing the grand final to Cowboys, especially in the way that he lost it, dropping the ball in Golden Point, to then see him lift the premiership trophy, I'm more than happy to see that happen. If Adam Reynolds is going to redeem himself for the mismanaging of the game in the last 20 minutes of the Panthers game, and he's going to win one with Souths, one with Brisbane,
I'll clap him.
Happy to see that. Payne Haas, as you know, some argue the most talented front rower the game's ever seen. If he gets one on his resume, happy to see that. And if anything, kind of feels like the world owes these cunts a premiership after they lost the 2023 one. And they are a quality side, and there's nothing bad about seeing Brisbane win. I feel like Brisbane are overhated for no reason as well. These cunts haven't
Everyone hates
one
them.
shit for fucking 20 years. Like, But you can't say you want to cheer for Penrith for the 50th year in a row. That's all right, whatever.
Oh, bro, but you'll be part of history. I don't want to be part of this.
No, I'm good.
I don't want to be part
On
of
the
this.
Melbourne side, obviously there's a champion club. They have been in half of the grand finals of the last 2 decades. I don't think we will see a run. Obviously, Penrith had a more dominant 5-year stretch than them, but for 2 decades, I really can't see anyone pulling off what Bellamy did. I remember being in high school shout out to JB, being like, oh, fuck, well, once Smith, Slater, and Cronk and and Inglis and, all those
boys.
players retire, Melbourne, like, where do they go from there? They can't just keep dominating the league.
They can.
And they emerged fucking Jerome Hughes out of thin air to win a Dally M on halfback. Munster, who literally was just playing for shits and gigs at the start of his career, to now captain Queensland and be one of the all-time great 5'8s that the competition has seen. Pappy, through all of his injury concerns, actually ended up won the Clive Churchill in 2020 when he dismantled Tyrone May.
And do it again.
And Harry Grant obviously literally was top 3 Dally M voting playing for fucking Tigers, and that's hard to do. And now he actually hasn't won a comp, hilariously enough, so you could say he's due as well. So
He hasn't?
narratively, on either side of the spectrum, if you're with Brisbane or with Melbourne, I feel like it's a win-win situation. I'm not mad to see either of these teams lift the trophy. Now, having said that, there has to be a game that has to be played on Sunday. 2.5, is that it?
So you made me
After
look like a
all
shit
that,
man. Yeah.
you can't put him 2.5 to Canberra, which I screamed at you cunts for even going to Canberra's 2.5, who have proved nothing in their fucking franchise's history. They go down 28-10, and Reece Walsh comes on and runs past Fogarty 10 times and wins the game. And now all of a sudden cunts are like, fuck, Brisbane are gods. And that's why they were 2.5, bro. Okay, sure, they won the game.
And then they were 2.5.
And then that respect seemed to get thrown out of the fucking window when they were again 2.5 to... when actually playing in Brisbane as opposed to playing in Canberra against the gods themselves, Alamotti and co. And again, for 65 minutes, they showed that even 2.5 was not enough for these cunts. They probably should have been 4.5 because, as the course of the game progressed, the further the game went along, Penrith started dominating the middles more. Penrith were more disciplined. Brisbane seemed to be rattled. They threw the footy around and it wasn't working, and they kept throwing the footy around more and compounding error after error. The left side of their defense looked very shaky, and I can't even say that Penrith really threw anything crazy at them for Alamotti to score those 2 tries in the first half. It was probably too easy for a side to then go and fucking play Melbourne and be 2.5. They were 1 second away literally from conceding that Cleary try 5 minutes into the second half, and where they would have given up. And I would feel like I would be singing a different tune if Brisbane came back methodically through shifting the ball out wide and actually breaking down Penrith structurally. And for all that wants to be given credit to Penrith's way, Melbourne have actually been statistically a better defensive side throughout the whole season. And as much as we say they don't try and they don't give a fuck, when it comes to high leverage games, they actually like... That Nakora try saver, they would concede that in the regular season. Like, they don't give a rat's ass. But they would go
score 2 more.
Exactly. But they showed me that they can actually bite down on the mouth guard. The comeback against Penrith, where they ended their winning streak, they didn't let Penrith score for ages at the end of the game. They did the same shit against the Sharkies when really, like, they held out Nakora, and then Sharks didn't get any more points on the board until, obviously, the last seconds.
For me.
And for me, looking at Brisbane being on the ropes constantly every single time they're playing these finals games and needing a 20-point comeback against Raiders, needing a 16-point comeback against Penrith, but I don't see Melbourne just allowing an edge to be decapitated like Raiders did for them to come back from fucking 50 down. And I don't see them being so fatigued and so exhausted like Penrith were that they would... I can't even really say Penrith stepped any foot wrong.
No.
The Katoni Staggs try was just a ricochet grubber kick that anyone would concede. The Xavier Willison try was garbage as well. And the end, honestly, 4 Penrith players were there, and that's a play that they would normally make. And I fully expect that Melbourne wouldn't concede that in the grand final. So has Brisbane showed me that they are actually, across 80 minutes, that good of a side to go and beat Canberra, beat Penrith, and end their dynasty without Carrigan, and then back both of those up by going 7 days later and playing Melbourne, who are rested and playing good footy themselves, and beat them as well? No. I actually think they're lucky to still somewhat be playing footy at all. They could have easily lost to Raiders, and then who knows what the fuck would have happened after that, after playing a 95-minute thriller. And they just as easily should have been eliminated by Penrith, even though thank you for getting rid of these cocksuckers. We appreciate it. So I feel like the strength of Brisbane in theory is in their spine, but to be honest, outside of Walsh's individual brilliance when half of the spine wasn't there at the end of the season, I can't really point to any game throughout 28 games of these guys playing this year where Reynolds, Mam, Hunt, and Walsh have actually consistently intertwined their plays between each other throughout the game to combine, and for me to be like, holy fuck, like, how can you get in front of this spine? But on the other side, I see it week in, week out from Papenhuyzen, Munster, and Grant, and when push comes to shove, I'm much more confident in their ability to execute under pressure than Brisbane's one. Brisbane honestly looked like they were out there fucking like lost puppies in the Raiders game, and Reece Walsh single-handedly dismantled them. And in the second one, I can't even say Walsh dismantled them because the three tries they scored were just garbage tries. And that's kind of what I'm thinking with Brisbane. Where do I feel like their potential edges are? Obviously, there are question marks over the Melbourne forward pack. The enforcer himself, Stefano, has come out and put a target against their forwards, which, all right, bro, like you've had one good game and now you think you're a fucking gangster. Sure, that's fine. I guess, like, if he goes and backs it up, good on him, because he has been the best Melbourne forward in the last two finals games. But when you're taking on Haas and Carrigan, like, just show some fucking respect, Johnny.
I think you said it last week. They don't even have to play to that high of a level. They could be slightly worse. He could be slightly worse than Carrigan and Haas, and Melbourne will still win.
Yeah.
Like, is there a big enough edge outside of the spine, which is much closer than the Cronulla spine? And back to your point about Brisbane, right? They probably were this close to releasing Brisbane versus Cronulla the week after. And I know some bookie was already putting the fucking odds together for Melbourne and Penrith for this week because they knew that these cunts have given up, down 14-0. Hence why they were $1.06 live at halftime. Like, it's not like you can't convincingly beat these two teams anyway. Yes, it's impressive beating them at all. I get that. But if I'm going, okay, they've convincingly beaten the team coming first, which a bunch of frauds, which we saw the week after. Okay, they beat a team that has won 5 in a row. Understandable. A team that has lost a lot of players as well. But they beat the team that has been there so long. Understandable. Both by a total of 3 points total between them.
Okay.
Come on.
Look.
I don't think that's an argument to be like, congrats, bro. Now you can't at 2.5 against the best team.
Okay. Well,
it doesn't make sense.
Number one, I feel like that's a bit unfair for us to say because, like, what was the expectation? They go to Canberra and win 13 plus, or they beat Penrith 13 plus.
No.
That's
unfair.
I'm
not saying that.
And number two, it's not like Melbourne, who have played in the finals so far, have like 13 plus either of them either. Yeah. So I feel like on the basis of that, that's probably a bit unfair. But from what we've actually seen, it's not that they only beat them by 1 or 2. From my opinion, it's actually that they genuinely got thoroughly outplayed by Penrith and by Canberra. And the reasons they won were just going into a grand final to a team that's clearly better than them. I don't want to rely on, maybe Walsh can get 4 converted tries in 10 minutes. And I don't want to rely on, maybe we can keep Melbourne scoreless for the entire second half and score 3 garbage tries. Yeah,
I'm not saying that they weren't impressive wins. I'm saying where you guys were to win that game was the non-impressive part.
Yeah, sure.
And for 55 minutes, you cunts were not impressive. It's not the case of, okay, which I'll give them, they did play no strange, so it's a bit different. If you cunts beat Raiders, dip and tuck and beat them by 8 at the end, not what Cronulla did, because that was without Strange, but beat them by 8, but you were in the game pretty much the whole time. You never let it go. You never went down to 11 players and then decided to wake up. You didn't have an edge that Fogarty looked like a lost puppy out there and didn't know how to defend anymore for whatever reason. Like, if that shit didn't happen, you cunts wouldn't come back. And I guarantee you in that game, Canberra probably $1 live as well. Like, who knows, right? Yeah. It should have been over. But no, Walsh scored 5 tries. I don't expect that to happen in the grand final, and it won't. This Melbourne team, low-key, have been very good defensively and have pretty much deflected any team in front of them. In the finals, look, in both games, they replayed the first half, and then we're like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, How much did they try in the second half in that raid? They defended really well. Did they go out there and start fucking throwing the footy? Or no, they didn't. I think this will happen in this game because all your marbles in the middle, and a team that has actually been there a bunch of times. Brisbane have been there once, but only 6 of these players actually played that grand final. There's been a lot of changes. Melbourne on the other side, the whole spine's played a grand final before. It was just last year. Literally the only player that hasn't played a grand final has put a target on the back of Haas and Carrigan. Everyone else has been there before. So he's a fucking moron. Anyway.
He might be my Clive Churchill pick.
We'll see.
Smash Haas.
Smash Haas, yeah. But I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I understand the hype and I understand I have Walsh, but there's been periods, especially at the start of the season, that I haven't seen this Brisbane team being that level. And you know what's incredible, right? This is what's insane. And I would sit here right now hypothetically. Let's say hypothetically Sharks beat Melbourne. You know they would be like 6.5 point dogs, at least.
No, I think Broncos would probably be minus 5.5 against Cronulla.
Okay, 5. Yeah, almost 6 point dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, we would come here and say, what the fuck? We have to take them. They've just beaten Raiders and Melbourne. But that's what price we're looking at right now because they're only 2.5. Yeah, they've beaten Raiders and Penrith, and I get the respect for it. But how are they beating them? Have you gone back and watched how? That's the real question.
You know what's interesting to me, Chris? From the start to the end of the season, every single game Melbourne has been priced like, fuck, we got to like bump up the spread by 4 points. We said realistically Sharks should be like 5, 6.5 in Melbourne last week. The bookie said, fuck you, we're putting it at 9.
Yeah.
Dogs like actually went there with Critter and with everyone. The bookies were like, nah, we're going to put this at 9 again.
Yeah.
But it's like now they're like, oh, well, you know what? After putting Brisbane 3.5 at home to Penrith and they fucking got outplayed in that game. Oh, well, now Melbourne, you know what? You can't sound that good anymore. We'll have to put Brisbane 2.5
Well,
again.
there's money, right? Because this opened at 2, and now this is like almost, like you can get a 2 at $2.
Yeah, it's almost 1.
Like, it's almost 1. So,
okay,
that's what I'm saying.
In my opinion, so much of... Because Melbourne's win against Canberra kind of went... Like, no one even remembered that these cunts played a game last week, right?
Yeah.
The entire media, everyone is speaking about Penrith and... Obviously, them getting beaten. So I feel like your average Joe punter would probably remember not just that Brisbane have won in Canberra and against Penrith, but how they've come back and won those games. Just has a longer lasting impression in people's psyches. But what we're fucking looking at more so is how have they actually played over the course of the game. And there's a lot of holes in Brisbane's makeup that can be exposed, and I feel like Melbourne are built to expose those. Now, if you want to look at their most recent matchup where Melbourne did run out everyone and Brisbane also ran out everyone, and Brisbane had the answers for Melbourne once they got to their goal line a lot, and I feel like Melbourne really didn't execute well on that day. Hughes went off in the 30th minute and they kind of looked like they were in 6s and 7s the whole game. And Broncos were very, very impressive. Obviously, dominated them from start to finish. That was at Suncorp, and Brisbane were playing for a top 4 spot. And Melbourne, again, were just playing for shits and gigs, really, and to get Hughes some reps when he ends up breaking his arm.
He's fine. He's back out there.
At the end of the day, look, I know they have Haas and Carrigan. They have an opportunity to maybe win the middles, I guess, if all goes well, and Haas plays like a Hercules again. And Carrigan comes in and plays like how he does in Origin generally. But outside of that, I know Brisbane have the names in the spine and the experience and all that good stuff. But I just don't think they're playing well as a spine. And they genuinely... until Billy Walters ran out there with them for no reason, they have not connected well as a spine the entire season, including their last 2 wins. Individual brilliance from Walsh is definitely a factor, but... individual brilliance can be taken out by sides. And I think back to, obviously, as early as last week, I feel like Penrith did a pretty good job on Walsh. They didn't just allow him to go and run around the edges like Raiders did the other year. We had Turbo's Dally M season where everyone was like, well, how can you tip against this side? And Wayne Bennett's South's team completely eradicated him from the game plan. And obviously, Melbourne have been there, done that a million times, and I feel like Bellamy will probably do something similar where they'll probably frustrate him earlier in the game. Sure, he'll have his moments. He's a great player, and you can only keep someone of his caliber out of the game for so long, but I think they'll have a game plan to limit him and maybe force the outside backs into a bit more of a one-on-one matchups type of thing. And between Warbrick, Coates, Howarth, Meaney not so much, but I don't see what Mariners is going to jump over Coates. That's probably not going to happen. Is Karapani gonna go around Warbrick? Probably not. Can Staggs just barge over
the big one,
Howarth? Howarth's a big body, right? He could probably do a decent job on him.
And then you got the liability of Reynolds passing to him. Like, that's the biggest problem, which we saw last week. Yeah, he can't pass.
Exactly right. So, as good a story as Brisbane's been, I don't think they're actually really playing that good footy. And what they've gotten into this grand final with, and you know what, this goes back even further, right? Did they actually play technically amazing footy against Dolphins? No. Did they play technically amazing footy against Cowboys? No. Did they play technically amazing footy against Melbourne? Yes, I guess.
That was their best, that's their best performance.
Yeah. Against Raiders, I don't think they were great. And against Penrith, they weren't great. They were gritty. Don't get me wrong, they were gritty. But grit only gets you so far at the end of the day. And I feel like this is another factor that won't be considered that much, but it's actually a big deal in my eyes. If this was Ash Klein, and he was blowing penalties every 2 minutes,
that would help Brisbane.
I actually feel like that fucks Melbourne over a lot.
Yeah.
Because if the game's in play, Melbourne just get such a sickening roll on in the middle, even though they don't have Arsene Carrigan, but they have Harry Grant, right? And the way they actually pull teams apart in the middle of the park is uncontainable. And considering Brisbane just had the 95-minute game, they have another bye. Their players aren't fully healthy. I don't see Reynolds and Ezra being 100% all the way there. And Haas, how much does he have in the tank after the last week? That was insane. To now expect them 7 days later and what I would predict to be a fast-paced environment when Melbourne have just been chilling after playing 2 bums and resting for 9 days, running out Harry Grant and the enforcer of Stefano. I feel like Melbourne will get ahead early and Brisbane will go and try and push the button of, we're down 50, we can start coming back again. And you know what? Melbourne might be up by 12 or 16 or 18 or something. Brisbane might score a try or two. Melbourne probably will actually score back because Raiders
can't score.
Raiders had the Hosking moment, didn't execute, conceded 2 seconds later. Penrith had the Cleary moment, didn't execute, conceded 2 seconds later. But I feel like Melbourne, they're just more difficult to contain than any of these sides. You can defend for an hour. They can just kick to Coates or Warbrick, and they can climb over Mariner and Karapani easily. They can go short to Katoa. I don't know how Ezra's going to tackle him with one leg. On the other side, Adam Reynolds, on Munster, they're so potent everywhere in the park that I feel like they're just going to overcome and steamroll them to a point that Brisbane will just run out of. You can only pull so many rabbits out of the hat. Conversely, if Brisbane do go up early, Melbourne are more than comfortable attacking from behind as well.
See, I've convinced you. I've convinced you. It's over,
mate. I actually on BackYourself Premium, and if you're not on wake up to yourselves. We've actually given out Melbourne $3.80 to win the premiership after the morning after Hughes broke his arm, because I was like, this cunt's going to come back. I actually said they'll win the comp without Hughes either, because that's how good I think they are. I'm not scared of Brisbane. I think they have a 5% chance to win this game. But I feel like when you say they're going to concede 40, I feel like that's a bit slack to them.
No, it's not.
I don't see Melbourne getting more than 32.
You know what's incredible is that the Brisbane game you guys won, Grant didn't play. I just remembered. Because he was suspended.
Yes, exactly.
Fuckwit.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, this is the cherry on top. This spine has won 8 games and lost 1. And I was like, wait, you're saying it was 2, but that doesn't make sense because it can't be 2 because I know who beat them. And it was Cronulla. In Cronulla. Brisbane, this spine is 8-1 together. I'd love to see what the stats are on Brisbane's spine together.
We're 1-8.
Their start of the year was awful. Notoriously, the game at Manly, which we continue to speak about. Holy fuck. They were shit.
Yeah.
Dragons following that the week after, going back home and losing the Dragons, losing that Para game again for no reason. Look, Melbourne's lost some dumb games, but like I said, the spine, when all healthy, are 8-1. And another thing that everyone seems to forget, like you said about the 95-minute game, Melbourne have played 1 game in 20 days. They haven't played. They played the Dogs game, which was on a Friday. They haven't played for 2 weeks. Till Friday last week, and then they've played a game, and then they have another 9 days rest. And you motherfuckers put them 2.5.
They're so fresh, it's not even funny.
And so, look, I'm going to take your point, and just because I think last week, because they covered, just for me, your point was invalid. But I'll take your point and just use it in this. Melbourne are going to win this game 13 plus. Melbourne are 8-1 with this spine, and I think this will be 9-1. They have played one game in 20 days, and I truly believe in my heart of hearts they could rest Hughes and still beat these cunts. Start Jonah Peasant, and they'll beat Broncos. Because everything, like, I don't see any edge in this Broncos team at all. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. You can make all the claims in the comments. I cannot see any edge that Brisbane have over this Melbourne team. Okay, Melbourne go out there and play like idiots and drop the ball. Sure, whatever. But if you just look on paper, how they've been playing, how they've executed when actually being there with everyone, this Melbourne team stomps on this team. So I'll back my take 13 plus. These cunts are dead.
I don't think it will be particularly close throughout the game. I obviously see Melbourne winning, whether it's by 13 or 16 or 10 or 8. I don't think it really matters. At the end of the day, Melbourne are going to lift the premiership trophy. And as good of a run as Brisbane has had to get to this point, I feel like it's going to be over. And once it is over for them, I feel like it's going to be very hard for them to get back here and do it all again for whatever reason. Because
it's so
part of
hard
them
to
probably
get there.
thinks that we've already won the comp by beating Penrith.
There's also that. I didn't add that in.
Backing up 7 days later from that fucking... Like, the players actually look like they're going to collapse and die at full time.
Yeah,
which I don't even blame
And
them.
the way they celebrate and how they won was like a grand final.
Yeah.
It was like the grand
it's,
final.
It's hard emotionally to, like, then go and play another game against a team that's even better than the country just beat.
And, like, are so prepared. Like, if Cronulla were there, for example, I know Cronulla would be fucking shaking because it's a grand final and they've never been there. Melbourne, like, so when's Bali booked? The 6th or the 7th of October? Like, I've been there so many times.
Munster, when's that podcast that we're going to do?
Yeah, like, they're just so chill. Yeah. Bro, they're probably podcasting this week. They're probably podcasting exactly at this time for their own. They don't give a fuck.
Okay. Is there any concern of you that Melbourne are not as battle-hardened as Brisbane because they've played dirt?
This is Melbourne, mate. There's no such thing as battle-hardened. Like, Bellamy, like, for what a coach he is and how he's got this team to as many grand finals he has, battle-hardened doesn't mean shit. And if anything, I'd rather not be battle-hardened. Melbourne, as much as they're, like I've said, the spine has played together this year for 9 games. They just get injured. Like, if they went through this war, do you really think Hughes would have made it out the other side? Do you really think someone like Pappy, who's had a terrible run with injuries, would make it out the other side? You don't know, right? So I think having the rest is the most beneficial thing you can have for Melbourne. And for me, like, the way the game is scheduled, the way that they've actually had this run, they just keep getting completely overlooked and missed by the media and everyone, all you fucking public morons, simply because they just haven't fucking played. Like, Friday against Dogs, Critter goes down. Oh, Critter went down. That's why they won. Oh, yeah, they played against Cronulla. Cronulla's shit. They always choke in the finals. Like, just completely disregarding anything they've done and just looking at Brisbane. Oh, my God, did you see Walsh drink the toilet water from fucking sin bin, come back and beat these guys? Oh, my God, they came back from 14 down and beat Penrith and beat the... Like, take a chill pill. This is the grand final, you motherfuckers. Like, this is no fucking game. I don't think... If they go down 16, what, you're just going to expect to pull a rabbit out of a hat in the grand final to beat these cunts? What are you cunts, Penrith?
Yeah, no.
Come on, bro. Okay. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's not something that happens. It has to be close for Brisbane to win this game, and I just don't think it will be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they can handle what Melbourne's going to throw at them in the middle of the park, particularly if it's a free-flowing sort of contest.
Shout out Grant Atkins.
Like, we genuinely had them... The Broncos players running escorts on Alamoti, who's what, 5'11", 5'10", if that. And now you have the cheat code of Coates and Warbrick, which
Coates on fucking
they can't. They just can't be controlled on either side of the field. You have the superior spine, which probably Brisbane, like the form that Walsh has been in. I don't think any team could say to them that we have a better performing spine than you cunts, but with how awful Reynolds and co play every other game, like Hughes and Munster and Pappy and Grant is just fucking sickening.
Bench player, that's right.
Yeah, and even the fact of like small shit like Ezra coming on after the 30th minute on one leg, like that just doesn't fucking scare me.
Just start him.
The cunts on NRL 360 were like, "Fuck, Ezra changed the game last week," and I'm like, "He did nothing. He can't even run. What the fuck? He can't."
Did he even set up any?
Did he even play?
Did he set up any of the tries?
He set up fucking Liam Martin to get.
The only thing was the fucking the penalty.
Yeah.
Which, like,
Who gives a
It was
fuck?
Liam Martin being an idiot more than
Yeah.
it could have been anyone. Like, who gives a fuck? I actually am surprised. That was the whole reason I couldn't release the video before, because I had Ezra as for everyone that first, like, score first, second, or third. But if you start on the bench, then that's shit. I'm just gonna put fucking Hunt.
Yeah, of course.
But I was thinking Madge would change it around, like. Play your best fucking spine.
Nah,
Like,
fuck that.
I understand that it hasn't worked and you cunts are working now, but you've already fucked that. Like, Reynolds is there. Like, you've already fucked that.
I don't think Ezra can get through 80s. It doesn't look right. Bro's playing on one leg.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
that.
what's the point of bringing him on?
He can come on and not do anything like last week.
It's just shit. It's just. Look,
Well, right now they don't have an 80-minute hooker, so at
yeah, I
some
know,
point,
but you could put Pegs on the bench. Like, it's fine.
don't worry about. Do you want Pegs on the bench or you want Ezra there?
No, I'd rather Pegs. Look, Ben Hunt, like, I know he's a fucking warrior, but having Grant and Wishart through the middle of the park is not going to be fucking easy. Even if Pegs plays 20, 30, and then fucking this cunt wants to change shit around. Ben Hunt's going to play second row, have Eli Katoa running at his ass for 4 hours, and then go into the middle of the park, and Wishart will just come on fresh.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Like, that's why I'm saying if you start Hunt, Pegs comes on, then you got the same problem. Like, Hunt versus Grant, maybe the best two hookers in the competition, even though Hunt doesn't play hooker. Like, in that position, they do play their best. It's a good fucking match. But right now, you're going, okay, so Pegs will take the heat from fucking Stefano running it at Haas, and then we'll move Hunt there, who'll play good like, I know he'll play good, but then a fresh Wishart's going to come on. And you'll be like,
And then
oh,
a fresh Ezra will come on.
Yeah, fucking go play 5'8". That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not going to play in the middle. He's not going to go fucking start tackling Stefano.
Well, he's just going to go out there and just fucking run it every time. I don't mind that. I feel like they're making the right decision.
Look, I get it, but then, like, Hunt is also not going to run the ball much where you need traffic on fucking Hughes, which is the other thing. Like, Ezra likes to run the ball, and he would run traffic at Hughes. That's, like, what Cronulla should have done last week.
Well, I feel like Ben Hunt could probably challenge him as well. He's a like underrated
Oh,
ball
yeah,
runner.
he is,
so.
but he's not Ezra.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Look, in my eyes, I can't see the Brisbane 6, 7, and 9 outplaying the Melbourne ones.
Whatever combination comes out.
So, if Broncos are to win, I think you're going to need probably the best performance of their careers from both Reece and Haas.
And Reynolds.
Haas is going to need to, like, play even better than he did last week somehow. And Carrigan's going to have to follow him into battle as well. Like, the fact that Haas physically could get through 80 minutes last week, jump on the ball in the in-goal that Cleary grubbered, and then be the first cunt to actually charge down Cleary's thing was fucking inhumane from him. Like, bro. That is something else. Like,
he'll play 80 again.
His motor in the front row is something I haven't fucking seen in my life since Paul Gallen, at least. But Jesus Christ, like, the destructive way that he runs the ball is even beyond that. That was insane. But he's going to have to do some similar shit to that with Carrigan also helping him out in the middle of the park. And it's going to have to be like Reece putting in a performance similar to Raiders, or even similar to how he played Melbourne the first time, where his DNA is all over the ball. He's kicking 40-20s. He's popping up on both sides of the rock. He's challenging everyone. He's scoring. He's setting up tries. But I feel like Melbourne will have the answers for that, so that's why I just don't see it happening. And on the other side, I feel like if Melbourne are to win, which they will, and this is where I'm going to lead into my Clive Churchill nominee, it's going to have to be...
Why?
My comical pick will be Stefano, but obviously he's not going to win it because fuck him.
Pappy, Grant?
I'm going with Grant.
Yeah.
In my opinion, outside of finals week 1, Grant had been the best player in the competition until he got suspended. Like, the cunt was absolutely possessed. Literally took down Penrith with literally nobody out there with him. Yeah. And I know Walsh has been playing outstanding, but in a grand final matchup where the teams are going to quote-unquote kill each other, I feel like Grant is closer to the action. He's going to have more of an imprint on the game. And when it's all said and done, I'm going full-time score. I'm going to go 30-14 for Melbourne. They'll win by 16 in the end. And
convinced him.
Harry Grant will be your Clive Churchill medalist come full-time.
I'm going to go 40-16.
Fucking overs, big time.
Oh, yeah.
Big
that's
time
what
overs.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why this is 40.5. Penrith aren't playing. Yeah. You cunts do get it. Penrith aren't playing. It's fucking Melbourne. And
this
Brisbane.
is default line, assuming Penrith was going to make it.
Anyway, Clive Churchill menace. I have to back. Like, I actually think it's so overpriced. It might lose, but Pappy at $12 is fucked. Like, He could score 2 tries like that, and he's going to win them.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
and
Who's the favourite for Brisbane? Walsh.
yeah, $6.50, and I think Grant's like $7 or some shit. Like,
Wow.
the whole spine is lower than Pappy. Pappy's the highest one at 12. I get it. Like, maybe he doesn't get all the running meters, but if they make a break, he's the first one there, and
100%.
Like, I just think like he will get tries off that, and of course we have to go back. The last time they fucking won was Pappy's Clive Churchill medalist, so hopefully that's a good omen. First try scorer. I got a good
Stefano.
one. I got a good one. I'll give you some stats, right? We've had every winger the last 4 weeks, except for Raiders Cronulla, which was Horsburgh by some fucking miracle.
Stefano.
So we're going to get some dick.
Stefano.
Nah, I'm going Eli Katoa. I think
Again?
I think they will run traffic that way.
At Hunt.
Well,
to be honest,
to tire him out.
No, that edge was defending despicably last week.
And look, he knows that, and traffic will go down there regardless if it's Hunt or Mam. Like, Mam will get a lot of traffic, and if it's kicking to Katoa or short ball to Katoa, I feel like that's the spot.
Yeah, with Husey there,
if anyone else, obviously, if you're a fucking shit cunt and you want to take a short price, just take Coates. Like, that's probably the most likely that's going to happen. They'll just kick to him. But I'm going to go Katoa. I just think, like, he's in the right spot, and he's also second grand final. Half these cunts are in the second grand final. So maybe Grant, scoot from dummy half.
That's what I was thinking, but
Pakes.
I've changed my mind.
Stefano.
I'm going to go Stefano. On the trial, he's going to bump off Haas and then put it down under the goalpost to send a message that Brisbane can be contained in the middle of the park by Stefano.
Why is he talking shit? He's made one grand final.
I have no idea.
He was playing for Tigers last year. Played like an idiot.
Fuck it. If he's going to go out and play gun, I'll back him.
Sure.
I like him.
Do you think Haas and Carrigan will play 80 each? No. I think Haas should come off. I think Carrigan will play the whole game.
Yeah, you've been fucking resting for 3 weeks, son. Get out
Haas
there.
should come off so there's more impact.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's the right play playing him 80. And he had to play 80 last week without Carrigan. Like, there was no choice. They had no choice. So this week, I feel like he should play 60. Like, be more impactful.
Yeah, get Wilson on for 10 minutes and then you get Haas back on.
And
that would be smarter.
Switch it around.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, from February, we've been saying Melbourne's going to win the comp. And now that they're here, there's no reason to back down to Brisbane. Melbourne are the better side, the more experienced side, the better spine, the more athletic and talented outside backs, particularly on the wings. Obviously, Katoni's probably the best outside back, not including fullbacks on the field, would you say?
Yeah.
I think he's a better player than Coates.
Yeah, than Coates. Yeah, I think Katoni is best. Like, he can definitely cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, for sure.
But Half isn't a sleeper, and like last week was like, Katoni scored, but that one-on-one matchup with McLean we never got to see. And that's where we thought they had the edge. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about this week.
Better coaching edge obviously goes to Melbourne. Rest goes to Melbourne. And for all those reasons, we are both tipping Melbourne to win this game by a decent margin in the end. Brisbane, it's been a fantastic run. You've done well to get into this grand final. Irrespective of your preseason expectations, the way the year unfolded with all those questions about, is Madge working them too hard? Are they not responding to Madge? What the fuck's wrong with them? Why did they lose to Dragons? Oh, the Snipers got Reynolds and Mam and Cobbo. They can't do anything now. To then literally not losing a game up until this point. I'm not taking anything away from you guys as a club. It's been a fucking great run. Thank you once again for eliminating these cocksuckers. I appreciate it. And this is the end of the run for you guys. If you are somehow to go and win this grand final, we'll give you an apology on the review and truly question this competition of how a team can just run out there and try for 3 games and just beat everyone. Like
8 weeks.
The minor premiers and then the 5-time champions and then the premiership favourites. If they can just go and beat all of them, then I would have a completely different outset, especially going down 50-0 and being $10 odds to all of them at halftime. Sure, if that's going to happen, that will shock me, but we're taking the better team with the better players, the better coach, the more rest, the more finals experience, the more key player experience, and for those reasons, the Melbourne Storm will win this game and be your 2025 Premiership champions. You guys let us know who you're riding with,
Broncos,
who your heart lies with, and who your head lies with in the comment section down below. Obviously, the Broncos fans will fucking scream at us and be like, last week you cunts wanted us to win by 13 plus, but now... But obviously, if they are questioning us and they don't get that this is the Back Yourself podcast and it's a very week-to-week proposition. 1 week, we might like your team. The next week, we will scream at you cunts when it's warranted.
Except for night.
And it is warranted this week. Hope you guys all enjoy the grand final. Any tips or whatever you guys have in the comments. I would like to see them and see, in the landscape what everyone is on record saying will happen in this game. But other than that, I just hope for a good contest that Melbourne dismantle the opposition in. I'm not asking for much. What about you?
I'm not asking for much. Yeah, Melbourne hopefully win the grand final and really show that you can't just play 8 weeks and fucking win a comp. But if they do, bro, it's got to be a superhuman performance from Walsh. And I kind of want to see it because I want people to shut the fuck up about this cunt. Like, so much hate went on Walsh last year.
For no reason.
And he's literally the only lifeblood that gets his cunts to score 90% of the time. So for him, Hunt, and I guess Reynolds, I really want them to win. But I know better. And that's really my heart. My head is just these cunts have no edge on anywhere in the park for me against this Melbourne team, which has been the greatest team from February. And they made a grand final last year, losing to a better Penrith team with Luai by 6 points, and they added Stefano. So we said it from then, and we're saying it now. We haven't changed our stance, except that they're going to win 13+, which I'll say every week. I don't give a fuck because I'm sick of these close matches. I want someone to die, and Brisbane might be it. But we'll see. Regardless of what Brisbane does, they could lose this game by 40. They've still had an incredible run to get to this point, so it doesn't really matter. Anyone that makes the grand final has done a great job to get there. It's not easy. And we see a lot of teams always falter before them, i.e. Sharks, Roosters, Dogs. You cunts fucking retarded. So at least Brisbane get there. And a lot of these other teams never get there. So
absolutely.
That's the biggest thing.
What are your 3 big things that you're looking for in this match?
Well, look, if Brisbane are going to win, we're going to see an absolute show from Reece Walsh. So hopefully, if that's going to happen, I want him to have the best game ever. On the Melbourne side, I would say I'd love to see how Grant dismantles the middle of the park. I think that's a big edge. I get Haas and Carrigan to rep forwards. Not worried about them. I'm worried about these other morons when Kobe comes on and starts to pass all this shit. And finally, and I'll go on record. We'll see like an 80-meter try, I reckon.
I hope so.
From Pappy. Might be similar to the 20. You might blink and be like, oh, this is 2020 again.
Yeah, it's happening.
Not that Walsh won't be there, but it's just this kind of way too quick. So I feel like something like that. Melbourne will score a few long-range tries, light up the crowd. They're not afraid to fucking put on a show. So when they go up 36-16, they're going to start fucking throwing the footy around, which is going to be good to see. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
It feels good knowing a 12-8 scoreline is not coming.
I don't think... Look, I don't understand. I don't think this is going to be a war. I don't think either team wants it to be a war.
The computer's malfunctioning. They think these guys are playing.
Well, look, does Brisbane want it to be a war? Fuck no. They'll end up losing it.
No, they do. They do.
No, but they're tired.
They'll never win a shootout.
Yeah, no, but they're tired. They'll just get tired.
Nah.
And Melbourne never want to be a war.
Melbourne don't even know what a war is. So I feel like that's Brisbane's best chance.
Yeah.
Okay. The things I'm looking forward to. Number 1, how will Melbourne's edge defense respond when Brisbane get good ball and they play the shape with Walsh outside of the back of shape? They didn't handle it well at all the first time they played them. Well, not the first time, but the first time they played them in the final game of the regular season.
Yeah.
Number 2, can the Melbourne forwards stand up and play Haas and Carrigan and co to a draw or stalemate? Because if they don't and they allow a Brisbane roll-on similar to what they did against Penrith last year, then they're going to put themselves under a lot of pressure. And obviously how they lost last year's grand final was Harry Grant got down there and scored in fucking 20 minutes. Right. And genuinely, Melbourne didn't play the ball in Penrith's 20 for the next 6 hours.
Well, Brisbane won't do that.
Of course. And thirdly, Munster, I want you to be the Clive Churchill medalist. Not that I think you'll get it, but obviously for what happened to your old man, I feel like it will be a great narrative to see you captain Queensland to a State of Origin victory on your home turf. And then, you know what, he's getting up there in age. Who knows? Maybe the Perth Bears will throw him a fucking 5-year, $500 million contract.
I got a new player.
It's possible that this might be your last premiership in the Melbourne Storm jersey. And for that reason, I want you to take the game by the scruff of the neck and really play like the Cameron Munster we know you can be and dismantle this Broncos team.
No, that Perth Bears already got someone else in mind. Burwood. But, yeah, no, it could be Munster's last. You never know. Same on the Brisbane side. Hunt and Reynolds. And you don't know if you make a grand final. It's never easy. So anyone that wins, I'm happy because of what?
Agreed.
You want to finally put them in because these cocksuckers are no longer in it. So it really doesn't matter.
It's a win-win for the Back Yourself podcast. It's a win-win for rugby league fans, and I hope this game lives up to the hype and the margin isn't more than 30 at full time. That will be nice. Let's go, Storm, for the last Back Yourself podcast fixture of this season. We hope you boys play for us and deliver a premiership. You guys deserve that for last year's loss, and we think it will happen. Peace out and enjoy the grand final, guys. We'll chat to you in the review where we'll be celebrating and we'll both be dressed in purple. Peace out.